Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. This episode, I'm going to be talking about dating and judgment because, with my dating standards, I have been through a lot of judgment. And with one reason why I created my dating standards was because of the hate, the judgment, ridicule, and dehumanization I was getting from a lot of men. I won't be talking about like the political issues this episode because I do that on so many. I might bring them up, you never know, because my YouTube channel is as messy as my life. But you already know about vaccinations and how disgust a lot of men are, not all, but a lot of unvaccinated men put me down for being vaccinated and even having the boosters. And I've had men tell me that now that I'm trash, despicable, awful, a waste of time, and or they hope that I miscarry every attempt of having a child. But then they're Christian. Yeah, these men actually have pictures of them at church and crosses on their necks, but they say awful, despicable things like that. Okay, so with this one, grocery drop off. A lot of grocery stores offer grocery drop off. I have some favorites I might talk about in another episode, but I remember I was talking to this one guy while I was online at the online grocery store, picking out what I wanted to order and also looking up recipes to make sure I had all of the ingredients for things. And he was like, "Oh, so are you just looking the items up to make sure they have it?" And I said, "No, I am looking up all of the ingredients and I'm going to order them so they can be dropped off at the house." And I was like, "Yes, it makes my life a little bit easier, especially with my disability." And next thing I know, he was like, "Well, don't you think you're lazy then?" He's like, "That's really lazy for you to do that." And I was just kind of shocked, and because I told him I have a walking disability. And so I asked him why. And he just said, "Well, I think you should just do it the traditional way. I think that makes more sense. And if I was dating you, I would want you to do your share of the work. And that means going to the store in person and getting the groceries." Yeah. And so part of me was, I was kind of, but then I have to remember there were a few of the items on my standards list he would have never passed. So it kind of made sense to me. I'm not going to say which ones, but it would, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, it makes sense with the ignorance and ableism that he portrayed. So I'm just going to say right here, guys, if you're going to date somebody, don't judge somebody based off of how they do things or how they live independently, especially like if they have either a disability or if they're a busy mom, if they're a single parent, because yeah, moms, dads, everything, sometimes ordering the food online the night before, picking the time where it can be dropped off so that you can go to your kids' soccer game or rehearsals or parent teacher conferences or your second job or do whatever you need to do, which you shouldn't have to have a second job if our country would respect our hardworking people enough to give them a high enough minimum wage where they wouldn't have to work a second job. But yeah, our country can't stand their own workers and the people who build this country and make this country go round and round when it comes to taxes and things like that. But anyway, yeah, I'm a progressive and proud of it. Okay, so with grocery drop off, if you're going to judge somebody off of that, maybe you need to examine your own life and your own obligations, because I think, especially for people with disabilities and parents and people who just have a busy life, because, like, yeah, working two or three jobs and everything else, sometimes time management, to me, I think it's resourceful. I think it's smart if you can afford it. And especially with time management, things like that, it's a blessing. But some people disagree with me. So, okay. Speaking of children and having being a single mom or dad, I've had people judge me for not having kids, but they don't ask me why. Like, well, some of them ask me why, but with judgment. I I've shown the screenshot. I have no idea which episode, but this was maybe 6 months ago that I might have shared this one. I'm gonna if I do find it, I'll share it with you guys tonight. But if not, I'll share it in a future but current, like as soon as possible. Yeah, yeah. I'll just stick to that. But there's this one guy who's like, "You must not like kids." And I just remember being like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? You don't have kids at your age, so that means you don't like kids. And quite a few men have told me this, but yeah, if you guys have been listening to my episodes, you already know how my 7-year relationship ex, who he divorced his wife and they had well, she has 3 daughters, he has 2 daughters, and he knew that I wanted to adopt and foster kids and possibly have kids, and he pretended for 3 or 4 years that was fine. But then right around the 3 or 4 year mark, he told me that it's like if I still wanted to adopt and foster, then he was going to break up with me. If I wanted to have my own kids, he would break up with me because he said that I can just take care of his kids. And even after the breakup, I would meet other guys with kids and they would just tell me, no, you don't need to have kids. One guy has 5 and he was like, just help me take care of mine. I always need help with grocery shopping. I always need help with bills and things like that. And I'm just like, excuse me. So, yeah. But yeah, it's a longer story than I've talked about in other episodes, but I've always wanted kids, but I grew up in a conservative church. And so I was trying to get married and then have kids. But now I'm no longer brainwashed. It's like, yeah, whatever happens, happens. I want kids. And if I don't end up married, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. So, yeah, I'm not doing it the traditional route anymore. It's like either I'll be a single mom that adopts and fosters, or I will be a single mom that goes to that special male specimen bank and, look at a folder and pick from there, So, but when this guy, he kept saying, well, I know you don't like kids. And he's like, well, he only wanted to date me because I didn't have kids. And he had the nerve to tell me that he has his baby mama trained and on how to behave. And he said that he doesn't date women with kids. Like, so he doesn't date women with kids. But because I don't have kids, he says I must not like kids. But he doesn't date women with kids because he says he's not going to deal with anybody else's baby daddy. But he says that the new woman has to deal with his baby mama because she has her trained. Yeah. So the next one is goals versus education. And a lot of guys, they think I don't want kids or like kids because of my education. They judge me. And it was to the point where for me to feel safe, I put education requirements on a few of my dating profiles. There are some dating apps where I still felt safe because, and that's the thing. It's like with Mr. No Heart, he dropped out of college. With Mr. Lockakey, he dropped out of high school. He only got his GED because a judge told him that he would go to jail if he didn't. And he lied to me too. He lied and told me he had a high school diploma. It wasn't until the night of that party where the girl snitched on him. But yeah, if you don't know about that, go back to that episode too. But the thing is, I I am a sapiosexual. I love deep conversations and everything nerdy, like looking at documentaries, learning new things, museums, exhibits, and things I love. And so I hope to have someone who is as intrigued with new information and things. And I know you don't have to have a higher education or certification or trade in order to do that. But most men who don't, when they hear about my education, I've had men tell me that what kind of man would ever want a smart woman? A smart woman is a waste of time. It's like a smart woman will try to take over, and so many other types of judgment, and or a smart woman doesn't know how to behave. And I keep saying this because I keep catching guys wanting control over women. They want women submissive so badly, even though they don't deserve a submissive woman. I've talked about that in an early episode too. Because so many men want submissive women, but they don't even know how to be a leader. They don't know how to take control in a responsible, mature manner. A lot of them do it in a very emotionally angered manner that is very immature and deplorable. Yeah, but don't judge someone based off their education, because in return, like if they keep seeing that pattern, you're going to see them in return judging you based off of your education. Because for quite a long time on one dating app, like I still have it on those dating apps, because even last month I had a guy who said uh, something pretty awful. Since I have two masters, so I have masters as my education level. With what he told me, especially that as a black woman, him accusing me of either lying, and it's like, oh, black women aren't smart, black women aren't, like, yeah, it was pretty racist, pretty degrading and awful and terrible. So yeah, when it comes to, and even starting my business, writing my books, as you guys know, Tomas broke up with me because of my children's books and write and trying to start my own business, even though he is part owner of a business. He broke up with me because I am trying to work on my dreams and goals as well. I've had many men who tell me, you're not supposed to do that. Your goal is to have babies, and you're supposed to help me with my goals. But then a lot of them, their only goal is to play video games all night and smoke 420. That's what I've noticed. Or at least those are a lot of the guys who try to hit on me and take me out. Or like Mr. No Heart. Yeah, that was like about the only goal he ever had. And yeah, the one time where he had a chance to start his own business, yeah, he still owes me almost $3,000. Yeah, he still owes me. He still owes me. And oh yeah, he is the guy where, if you guys, I've mentioned in so many episodes, what did his mother tell me? What did his mother tell me? The only reason you got into college is because you're black. Yeah. And then there was another guy who told me that, like on our way to a family picnic or something, or barbecue, he told me that I was not allowed to tell the family members about my education, because he said that would make him look bad. Okay, so disability. So many times people see me, even when teaching college at different colleges and things like that, or working almost any position. When some people see me, they tell me, oh, well, I know you got this job only because you have a disability. And then if men find out about my job position, same thing. So a lot of them say, oh, you only got this job either because I'm black or my disability. And or if had an opportunity to do something amazing, and I was so excited, I told, there was a guy that I matched with. Yeah, remember Mohammed? Yeah, it's like I remember telling him the good news about an opportunity that I got, and his comment was, it's only because you have a disability, that's why you got this. Even though I have worked my tush off and have the credentials and the experience and everything like that. And even when I told him and reminded him of my credentials, he said, yeah, I know you've done all of this stuff, but, and so it doesn't matter how hard I work, it doesn't matter how much I do and anything like that. That doesn't matter. Anything, it sounds like for a lot of people, anything and everything I do is only because of my disability. Even being out in public, do you know how many people judge me or tell me that I am not supposed to be out in public? Yeah, they tell me I'm supposed to stay home. They tell me that it's like, oh, it's like when I look at you, I pity you. And or when I, especially teaching college age students, some of them have even told me, well, I know I'm smarter than you because if you're not able to walk, that means I'm smart enough to walk better than you. Oh yeah, let's pray for Generation Z. Why don't we? Yeah. Anyway, uh, when it comes to dating, I've had men say that they don't want to deal with me, and or I am dating them, but then they mention me to their mothers, and a lot of mothers don't want anything to do with someone with a disability, because I've had men tell me, well, I'm really interested in you and I really want to date you, but my mom is just saying I won't be able to deal with this, or at some point I'm going to get tired or exhausted, and or she really doesn't want grandkids with the possibility of having my disability. Yeah, yeah. And there's so much more to this, but I'm going to be talking a lot more about disability life, and I have quite a few episodes on it, but I'm going to be kind of getting more into the subject in the near future. But when you see someone with a disability, don't preassume what they are able to do. Don't tell them what they can do, and then don't try to stop them from doing something, and then you turn around and do it and say, "Oh, I know you wouldn't have been able to do it." Because I've had this happen so many times. Even during dates, if I'm going to open a door or do something, "Oh no, you can't do this. Let me." Mm, why can't I open a door? "Oh well, it's too heavy." You see that I have it open now. Yeah, but yeah, what? And I don't know. There's just other situations where I've caught people tell me I can't do something while I'm doing it, but then they try to stop me from doing it so that they can do it for me. And then they try to say, "Oh, see, isn't that better? See, I know you couldn't have done it." Oh, common sense. And, well, race and nationality. Oh, like either, hmm, especially with how I speak, I've had men with dating try to tell me, "You don't talk black." And since I'm a nerd and sapiosexual and everything, "Oh, you're not supposed to be into investing. That's what white men do, or that's what white people do." It's like, why would you want to do something that white people do? It's like, when are you going to act black? Why aren't you black enough? Since you're light complexion, is that why you try to act white? Yeah, I've had, no, this is not just from black men. I've had white men, Middle Eastern men, Asian men. Yeah, it's like Hispanic men. Yeah, don't forget them. Yeah. It's like I'll ask questions like this. And or with my business ideas and my novels and greeting cards. "Oh, yeah, well, I know you're not going to be able to finish that yourself." It's like, yeah, I know you guys aren't as smart, so maybe you're going to need my ideas. You're going to need my help so that you'll be able to succeed with this, because I know you won't be able to do it on your own. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's how you turn on a black woman. You basically tell her that she's not able and capable of doing anything on her own because she's black. Yeah, you're so smart. But and it's crazy how so many men keep trying to give advice to other men on how to get women, but then the advice that I hear and the things that I hear men say are so idiotic, stupid, ignorant, racist, ableist, and just moronic, to the point where I'm just like, if this is what you're getting from these red pill or passport bros or whatever type of dating quote unquote gurus, then I would really highly recommend stepping away from that, maybe going out in public with women, get to know women, listen to women, and other way around with some women. If you've been single for so long, maybe you guys need to do the same. Go out in public, and also with race and nationality. It's like when you go out, meet people that are different than you and understand that stereotypes are just that. Because when you don't know how many times white men have told me, I've never had a black woman. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why, okay, white men, go out in public and introduce yourself to some black women, talk to black women. Don't just think of us as a check mark or a goal or something that you just want to hit it and quit it with. Like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's disgusting. So yeah, when I say go out and visit the person of the opposite gender or the same, like whoever you're trying to talk and date, yeah, like try to find diversity. Try to find people who are different than yourselves, because that's one reason why our country is the way it is, because so many people don't understand those that are outside of their identity. They don't understand people who are different than them. And some of them are so bigoted and judgmental against people who are different than them that they're not willing to open up and observe and see and recognize either any of the isms or the hate or the ridicule that they might have for a group of people. And I know I face this all of the time. If you've been listening to my 384 episodes, you would know this. But yeah, and continue listening and watching, because again, I have so many screenshots and pieces of evidence from so many people, either dating nightmares or river of racism. I have the evidence. But when it comes to race and nationality, just know every single person is an individual. Don't just try to put them in a cookie cutter. Don't stereotype them. And also, well, you know what? I have another thought, but I'll save that for an episode next week. But yeah, each person is wonderful, special, and amazing in their own way. And so if you see somebody, don't tell them what you expect them to act like or be. I get this all of the time, and it's absolutely aggravating. Okay, so now one of the most important things are gender. One, rejection. Everyone's going to face rejection. You just have to suck it up, buttercup, because there's going to be other people out there that you will be attracted to. Two, it's like, don't stereotype people based off their appearance or being a gender. Not all women like to cook. Not all women want children. I have met some men who try to tell me how I am supposed to be. They tell me that I am not supposed to want to be a businesswoman. And they, like, I've even had some who tell me they are ashamed of my father. But then they get mad when I block them. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's happened a few times where I block them and then they hunt me down on social media, or they get one of their cousins to call me and then they grab the phone and start swearing and yelling at me. Yeah. It's like, but then some of you guys wonder why you have a hard time finding a date. If you guys are not compatible and you're only dating somebody because you like certain features on her body, that's not going to work out. And that's one reason we have a 50% divorce rate. It's like, maybe we need to start looking deeper. Maybe we need to start asking those important questions as soon as possible. As soon as possible. And okay, ladies, it's like, try not to just date a guy for a free meal. But gentlemen, don't just try to pay for a free meal so that at the end of the day it's not going to be actually free because of what you expect from that woman. If you catch my drift. I know you do. Okay. But if you don't, ask your mama, your auntie, they'll catch you up. And at the end of the day, who in the relationship is supposed to cook and clean? I don't know. That's going to be between you two because that's not just for women to do. That's not just for women to do. Who's going to mow the grass? I know of quite a few women who mow the grass because some of them find it therapeutic. Some of them find it relaxing, especially some say it gets them away from their children for about an hour so they could just, blend into the tone of their lawnmower. So yeah, don't judge people based off gender. It's like when you guys come together, sometimes you're going to have to negotiate and come together with an agreement of who is going to do what. And if you're not willing to do that, then yeah, don't force them. Just escort yourself out of the relationship and find someone who will. Okay? Okay. Thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human and you're human too.